Hey YouTube, welcome back. In today's video, I really don't have an exact plan of what I want to go, but I have been working on, one of the things that I'm working on is unmasking my autism. And I'll get to talking about a little bit some of the reasons why I started masking and why I'm trying to stop that now so that I can be myself. And I'll be a lot happier and I'll be me and um, as I get ready to get prepared to launch into some kind of a job and get a career going. And so I don't really have a plan. So I've just been getting some ideas. And along those lines, I'm also working with my therapist on some of the accommodations that I'll need as an autistic person, a person with, in my case, it is a disability. It's also a different ability, but it's a disability. So I'm going to need certain accommodations in order to be successful in the workplace. So I've been, trying to identify some stuff like that. So I've just been writing down some thoughts, and I have a little list here of some things that is kind of a creative writing exercise that's meant to be a little bit silly, but it's also very serious. But before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to ask you to please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I've been masking for a long time. I have basically kind of been afraid to be myself because when I'm myself, I learned from a very young age that it didn't always end up with good results. I misunderstand other people. If a person is too professional with me, I can mistake that as them having an attitude. But on the flip side of that, also people misunderstand me and can take what I say totally wrong. And sometimes I'll say something in an attempt to join into the conversation, and they look at me like I'm crazy or actually get mad at me. So I learned from a very young age kind of to be afraid to be myself. I would stim and do certain things when I was little, and I was told to sit still. You need to sit still. Why are you fidgeting? Sit still. Well, nobody knew that I was autistic, so they didn't realize that they were actually doing more harm than good because stimming is a way that autistic people, we regulate ourselves. So I would fidget, I would move. I also have ADHD. So between the autism and the ADHD working with each other and pulling apart, it's an interesting dynamic. So I was always being told to sit still. When I would say something, I would get a lot of, Michael, are you talking to yourself? It's echolalia. It's a form of vocal stimming. Sometime whatever the word is or the phrases of the day, something that I hear that I repeat. Sometimes it could just be a name, an object, or I'll say something and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna kick your ass because it's something that I probably heard somebody say or something on TV. And it doesn't always, end up with the best results. So people think that I'm talking to myself. I'm vocal stimming. Oftentimes, when in a conversation with people and I don't really know what to say, but I want to join in, I'll say something that's completely unrelated to the topic, or at least to them, even though it made a connection in my mind and I just wanted to share. Or I'll just say something really silly, depending on what mood I'm in. As long as an accommodation, when I'm in work, I'm going to need to have my role clearly described in writing so that when I get there, I know what to do. Because it's like, well, there's a lot of things going on and I'm not exactly sure what to do. I know I'm supposed to maybe go fold some clothes and sweep the floor, but I need my roles clearly defined in writing to make sure that I understand them so that I can know exactly what to do. I don't always understand what's considered normal in a social situation. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll just sit there nervous and I'll just I learned to, because I sometimes did have bad results, I just hand out polite smiles. And, people look at me a little bit awkward because I'm masking. I'm afraid to be myself. And sometimes in an attempt to participate in a conversation, I'll share something that the conversation reminded me of. I get met with confused looks and sometimes even rebuke, saying, well, that's not what we were talking about at all. So it's like, oh, okay, well, let's just keep the conversation to what you want to talk about. Yeah, that's how people can be. I love to share what I'm learning with other people. So sometimes I can information dump and just start sharing everything that I know about a particular topic. People can get really, really annoyed at me, and I don't often understand exactly when they're getting annoyed at me because I miss those social cues. And it's really just that I wanted to talk to them, so it's a misunderstanding. Sometimes I'll share an opinion or maybe like a disagreement or something that bothers me. Maybe it might have something to do with the law, and I'll get corrected that that is legal or it's not legal. Well, they misunderstood that I was sharing my personal moral opinion, and they missed my point entirely. To me, I'll say, well, that wasn't right. I didn't say it wasn't legal or it was legal or whatever. So I'll say something oftentimes and it gets immediately rejected. And so oftentimes I hear the word no a lot. No, and then they correct me. Sometimes their correction is wrong and I'm correct, but so that happens a lot. In a work situation, whatever kind of situation, I don't really understand or recognize a pecking order. So I've been known to go straight to the executive director's office to go ask a question on what I'm supposed to do or what I need to do. Rather than going to my immediate supervisor, I'll just go to like somewhere where that's just a little bit more instant to get done what I need to get done or to get the information that I need. On the complete flip side of that same thing, I have been known to get bullied and bossed around by somebody in a work situation that I'm in charge of, and sometimes even getting told by them to do their job that they're getting paid for. So when I do get a job, and when I do go out there into the workplace and get my career to start participating in the world that I feel like I'm on the outside of the window looking in and trying to get on, and I've got on a couple of times, but I keep falling off. I'm going to need everything in writing at my role so that I can understand exactly what I do and stick to it. And so another thing that sometimes happens to me with friends, and this is okay because we all have brains that work differently. My brain doesn't work like yours. Your brain doesn't work like mine. And that's okay. That's the beauty of life. We're all different. It's neurodiversity. It would be quite boring if we were all the same. But I have a certain friend of mine that I like a lot. And our brains work differently. I want to know what the plan is, what time we're going to lunch, what time I'm going to come over the next day. I'll plan my trip home. Everything's like kind of down, like planned. And he's more of a, we'll play it by ear kind of guy. I don't know. Just come over and we'll just have to see. I know that sometimes I think I get on his nerves. And the lack of a plan and direct communication gets on mine. We're really good friends, but that's okay. Our brains just work differently. It's not that one's better or that one's less. It's just our brains work differently. So this is the list that I was mentioning in the beginning of the video. It's just kind of a silly list. But it's also very serious. I mean, these are real rules here. So these are going to be my list of rules and accommodations that I'm going to need to be successful if I'm going to join in the world. Are you ready? Okay. No kicking Michael's ass. No hitting Michael. Be nice to Michael. Listen to Michael. That belongs to Michael. No arguing with Michael. Let Michael. It's Michael's turn. Agree with Michael. Go with Michael. Take Michael. Like Michael's ideas and listen to his thoughts. Do what Michael wants to do sometimes. Compliment Michael. Rub Michael's back. Don't be bossy with Michael. Speak nicely to Michael. Let Michael kick your ass. Absolutely no kicking Michael's ass. Damn it, stop kicking Michael's ass. That was just a little creative writing exercise that got a little bit out of control. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, people.